Hello everyone and welcome to Math 1314 College Algebra for the Mini-Master. My name's Terry Barnes and I'll be helping you with this really quick journey through college algebra. Remember that this course will end at the end of December, so we got to get in and get going. In this video, I wanted to just show you how the course is set up and what you should expect and perhaps what my expectations of how you should work would be. So let's kind of go through everything. You'll notice in the nav bar up here, there's a button for announcements, tests, and grade book. So anytime you want to do your homework or work on a test, that's where you'll click. If you wanted to see your attendance or your Brightspace grades, you could look there, but I think here is where you want to really focus as far as your grades. And then there's a content button, but all the content that I want for you is right here. Your announcements will be here, and I'll put things there pretty frequently throughout the next few days. So be sure that you're checking that. Let's kind of go through the things that are here and see what's information. So here's our syllabus, and we'll go through here. Here is some contact information. Now, if you felt that you needed to speak with me, you can call and leave a voicemail. It will convert to an email, and I will get that voicemail even though I'm not on campus. So we could do that. You do know that you don't have to buy a book, that you got in for the course with inclusive access, and so that was part of your tuition. You must have a graphing calculator, a TI-83 or an 84. If you use an Inspire and you know how to use that, then that's fine as well, but you are going to have a graphing calculator. Let's move down to, we'll talk about the calendar in a minute. Let's look at grading. So there's homework for every section, and there's a test for each chapter. And so we've got 6 tests plus a comprehensive final. That's a lot to do in this amount of time. You got to really get in and get busy. In the homework, you can do the homework over and over again till you get the grade you want. And it says once the due date passes, your score is frozen. Well, it is all due at the end of the course, so that's really not too much of an issue for you. Your homework is going to count 30% of your total average. Tests will count 50% of your final average. And before the test is available, you have to have passed the homework for that section. So you have to have at least a 70 on every part of that chapter. If not, the test won't open for you. So keep that in mind. Final exam is cumulative, and it will count 20% of the final average. Okay. Let's see, late work. You're not going to have late work unless you end up at the end of the course and you haven't done some work, so we don't really have to talk about that. Attendance is based on participation, so you should have a homework or test activity in the course each week. Now, we don't have much over 2 weeks in the course, so we have about 2.5 weeks, almost 3. But if you didn't do anything for a week, I would definitely be contacting you and letting you know that you could be dropped for attendance issues. So you need to do something, I would say, at least every couple of days in order to get where you need to be in the course. All right, let's go back. So when we're back here, these are some student resources, and you should look at that at some point when you have the time. Let's go to calendar, and all that it shows is what we are going to cover. So calculator unit, there's information about that, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and taking a calculator exam. Chapter 1 and 2, and then a test. Chapter 3, a test. Chapter 4 is a test. 5, and then Chapter 6, review for the final and the final exam. Now, everything is available to you at the very first of the course, and it is not totally due till the end of the course. So it is up to you to kind of set a schedule and whatever you feel like you need to do. But this all of this work has to be done by the end of the course. So that's the calendar. Okay, there are a couple of handouts. I'm skipping this problem sets. I'm going to come back to that one. But handouts, there is a yellow packet, that's what I call it, and if you were in a face-to-face class, I would hand you that the first day, and you would get to use it on your tests. So you probably should try to print that and have it for when you are testing. There's a lot of information in here, things that we cover, things about the calculator, so you can see there's a lot of information. So I would print that. And then the other thing, let's go back. The other thing is, if you are using the TI Inspire, this has a document that I created with how to do some of the things that aren't typical for high school using the calculator, but I have screenshots and help for using the TI Inspire for certain things that we do in this course. So that could be helpful. And then if we go back to home, and there's a calculator help unit, there's some worksheets and videos. None of it's due to be graded. Let's just click here. Finding intercepts, finding maxes and min, solving equations, all of that, how to do that on the calculator. There's a video playlist for all of these items. So if you're not familiar with the calculator, then I suggest you try to use that to help you. And then if we went back to the calculator help, there's also some phone apps for the graphing calculator. If you don't have one, that might be something to help you. There is an exam review, calculator exam review, and a review video. So before you take that calculator exam, I would suggest looking at this review and watching this video, trying it, because you can take the calculator test as many times as you want, but you need to be prepared the first time. You might be able to do it, but you want to get 100 on that test. It counts as much as every test. So that is about the calculator, and there's a whole button for help on that. All right, now let's go to this button. For every chapter, I have a button for each part: problem sets, lecture notes, and lecture videos. So let's look at the problem sets. There's one for every section in every chapter. So here's 1.3. So these are the problem sets. It's just a blank set of problems, okay? And you may or may not know how to do them if depending on what your background is, but there are lecture notes that go with this. So let's go back and look at the lecture notes that go with this. So let's go to lecture notes and go back to chapter 1 and 2 and click section 1.3. And so here's the notes that would go with that. There's just some things written here and showing things. And when you get to this part, then you see the worked problems. There's the answers, there's things to help you with, and they're worked. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need to try to work them, but there's something to help you with that. And then the other part of this would be to go to the video. Let's go there. So let's go to lecture videos, and there is a YouTube playlist. I have a YouTube channel dedicated to college algebra, and so if you click on this chapter 1 and 2, then you can see the videos for each section. And it will be me going over all those problems, not just you trying to figure out, but me talking through the problems and showing you the notes. So let's go back to the home screen. So here's my suggestion for how to approach the work. Look at the problem set, the lecture notes, the video for each section. If you know all the stuff in there, you may not have to spend as much time on it. But once you're ready, once you've done that, then you go to the homework and do that section. And do that for a whole chapter. And when you've finished everything in chapter 1 and 2, then you're ready for the chapter 1 and 2 test. I do not recommend going through and doing all the homework for the whole course and then taking a bunch of tests. It does not seem to work well for people. So let's look at the homework. If you click here, so all of the homework, everything is due, and it's, I'm not sure this due date is right. It may not be December 30th. It may have to be the 29th. So I will find out about that, and that may or may not change by that one day. That could be important, and I will have that figured out. But everything is listed here with time limits for tests and how many tries you get. So calculator, you have an infinite number of tries. For the chapter test, you have 2 tries. The higher of the 2 grades is the one that will count in your grade book. You have 120 minutes for that test. 120 there. Chapter 4 is a bit longer. You have 150 minutes for that one. And for chapter 5, 120 minutes. 90 minutes on chapter 6. It's a multiple choice. A lot of it's on the calculator, so that's not as long. And then 150 minutes on the final. You only have one shot at the final, so you definitely want to prepare for that. So let's look at the homework for, say, 1.3. So there's 12 questions, and it mirrors the problem sets that we worked on. So write the inequality in interval notation. We're going to do that one. Let's go down here. I'm trying to find one that has, okay. That's a graphing, but you see how, yes, I know. Let's go back here. Okay, so when you're trying to answer a question, you want to click in the box, and at the bottom of the box, down here, you'll see all these icons. So if you needed an exponent, if you needed an ordered pair, and you can click more, and you get all these other things. When you get to chapter 6, you're going to need the matrices buttons. They're here. Fractions, it becomes really helpful to have all these little icons. So I'm going to just put some gibberish here and say check my answer, and you'll get a little hint and it'll try to point you in the right direction. I'm not going to change anything, say again, and you'll get more of that. Now you have final check. So when you do the final check, it tells you what the correct answer was and what you answered. So you can kind of figure out, I see what I did wrong. Now, at that point, you could hit similar question, and it's just going to regenerate the same kind of question. And then you could go on. Or you don't have to do that then. You could do the rest of your homework and come back to it. And you can hit save over here. So that is how you would do the homeworks. And if it's something specific like that you need to know how to do a particular kind of graph or something, there's usually something in my video that will tell you to be aware of that. And this is a reminder that you have to score 70% on this section before you could take the test on chapter 1 and 2. So that's how the homework goes. Let me go back. Okay, so the only other thing would be your grade book, and that'll have everything in there, and you can see that I opened this up, and it shows how much time you spent and your score. You notice there's 30 homeworks, 1 quiz. The quiz is the final exam, and there are 6 tests. So this is kind of a bar that's going to show you how you're doing. And you can look at your overall average at all times is going to be right here. I have a 0 because I didn't get anything on that. So that is a way to look at your grades. All right. So let's get back to the main screen. All right, I think that will do it to get you started. If you have any trouble, be sure you email me through through here, and it's tbarnes@mclennan.edu, and I will try to be available and get back to you as soon as possible. Good luck, and I hope you have a wonderful week.